So if you guys didn't check out the last video, please make sure to go check that out. If you guys didn't know, this is me adapting all of Tokyo-Ghoul, volume by volume, basically adapting it into my anime format and how I would pace episodes and how I would do it. If you guys like this type of content, please make sure like, subscribe, share to anyone you know who likes Tokyo-Ghoul. And anyways, man, let's get right into this. Okay, so if you guys didn't notice, at the end of the last video, I actually didn't finish chapter 9. I actually left that little segment where Kaneki wakes up in the shop after losing to Touka and decides to, I think, join on Teiku permanently. I actually left that out the episode because I thought it would be more of a cliffhanger to end it when Touka and Kaneki were about to fight. Now, this episode would start just off the bat with that little scene of him waking up, Yoshimura telling him he belongs in both worlds. I feel like that scene would do better at the beginning of this episode, then we'll play the opening. Just after the opening, though, we're basically just going to begin the cafe sequence again. This episode's mostly just going to be Kaneki adapting to his new life at Teiku. Yoshimura teaching him how to eat, like Nishio did, like eating sandwiches. Yoshimura teaching him how to make coffee. Him getting his mask with Touka. But the biggest thing, or one of the biggest things that's going to happen in this episode is we're also going to get to see Hinami and her mother in this episode, which is going to be a very interesting thing for anime only, because I really think that at this point, people who haven't watched Tokyo-Ghoul will be thinking, okay, ghouls are all like very vile creatures and shit. Like, look at Touka, look at Nishio, look at Kaneki when he gets hungry. Like, bro, all the ghouls we've seen so far are all like hungry, like strong-ass creatures that normally you wouldn't want to stay around, right? Then you're going to be like Kaneki, basically, in the sense where you basically see Hinami and her mother, ghouls who can't really hunt for themselves, and you get to see the difference between them and someone like, I guess, Breeze, you know what I mean? Like, there's different types of ghouls, like good and bad, just like how there's different types of humans, good and bad. But just as they get introduced, we get some of our worst, one of our worst humans introduced. We get my boy Mato and Amon introduced, and the CCG. So yeah, the CCG's introduction, I'm pretty sure that in this episode, it's going to make a lot of like, because in the original anime, this shit happened after the Tsukiyama arc. So the Tsukiyama arc happened first, and then this happened. In my version, I'm going to have the CCG arc happen first, like it does in the manga, and then the Tsukiyama arc. Simply because Ishida planned it out this way, like on purpose, because he wanted to put you on the ghoul side, make you witness the worst of the worst when it comes to humans, and then the worst of the worst when it comes to ghouls in the next arc. So like, yeah. Basically, that's what happened. Yeah, either way, the CCG's introduction will be pretty sick, and I feel like there'll be a lot of highly animated Sakuga moments here when they're just killing these random ghouls and shit. But yeah, mostly this episode would just end with Kaneki end up going to the graveyard with Yomo, and then he's going to end up falling through. And yeah, that's basically going to be the episode. That's going to be the end on that cliffhanger. Again, little slow of an episode, but I mean, like, again, guys, every chapter of Tokyo-Ghoul is not going to be fight, bang, bang, bang. I feel like this is a well-paced episode that helps the world building of the show. Either way, though, we're going to have one of our other prominent episodes of the season, episode 4. Episode 5, where basically, this is the episode where Hinami's mother gets killed, and this is the biggest twist of the episode, because this is going to really up the stakes for the rest of the arc. In the manga, it was used as that. And in the anime, I really want to use it as a driving force of tension. Like, oh my gosh, like these CCG members, they mean business. It doesn't matter if you're a mother, a child. If you're a ghoul, you're dead. You know what I mean? So they mean business. There is tension when these people are on the screen, and it's just going to build up tension for that initial final conflict. But anyways, the reason why this scene's going to hit a lot more harder, like it did in the manga, was when Kaneki went into Hinami's room, he bursted into it and he ended up seeing her eat. He ended up teaching her how to read. He ended up teaching her new words. Like, Kaneki actually bonded with a ghoul for once. You know what I mean? It was a very cute moment, very nice, wholesome moment. And then we get this dread at the end of the episode. And I feel like it'll be a tear-jerking moment with the OST going crazy and the animation going crazy. And people are really going to see how much of a fucking asshole Mato really is. But then you don't know his motives, so I guess people are implied to see that way, but still, bro. This arc would start off with a bang. Episode 5 would also be a banger of an episode. Episode 6 will basically start before the opening, where it's still going to be that rainy, gloomy, depressing day. And Touka's going to walk into the cafe. She'll be like, what the hell happened? She'll see everyone sitting there. She's going to get informed with the news. She's going to want to rewind a slide. Yoshimura is going to tell him not to. And that's basically how the episode's going to start. Just pure despair after Ryoko's death. We're going to get to see Kaneki's struggle of being helpless as well in this episode, which is really going to help. But then the opening's going to play right when we see that Touka's like, fuck Yoshimura's plans. I'm about to go do this shit myself. For the majority of the episode now, I really want to focus on Amon and those two CCG officers going out to lunch, getting their ideologies about the world, how they feel about their comrades, how they feel about the CCG in general, and how that one CCG officer really parallels Hinami, I guess, or someone who's supposed to build a connection with you before they die. Right? So he builds a strong connection with Amon, as we're going to see on the screen. And then he's going to get absolutely speed blitzed by Touka, and in amazing animation too. I want this segment to last for a long while for the episode. I want to drag this out, add more scenes, add more Sakuga inside of it, so that it can seem like a more high stakes fight when Touka ends up losing it and Mato shows up to the scene at the end, ends up defeating her. Now the last little segment of this episode will probably be Kaneki. I noted at the beginning of the episode that, oh yeah, we're going to start to see his helplessness. You know, he's going to be in the shower and like, damn, I couldn't do anything. And that's basically going to be his little internal conflict right now. Although he does that, he also goes and sees an injured Touka. And at the end of the episode, people are going to be very happy with him because he's going to develop and he's going to say, you know what? I'm tired of being helpless. Teach me how to fight. Which is going to be a big thing for people who called early Kaneki like a bitch. Like, you know, most people who call black hair Kaneki a pussy in the beginning of the episodes, first couple of episodes where he's just crying. This can be a big episode for them when he actually puts his foot down and says, you know what? I'm done crying. The next episode is going to kick off right where the last one ended off. And so Kaneki and Touka are going to go underground and start training. I want there to be good animation in Sakuga too. Like I said, this is going to be like a Chainsaw Man level animation, or maybe even Madhouse Prime level animation when they're fighting. So I really want the OST and the fighting and the compositing to go crazy while they're just training. Just training will make them go that crazy. But the real moment of this episode I really want to focus on is basically Touka and Kaneki going to the CCG laboratory dressed as students trying to give false information about Hinami. Basically, this scene is really going to show you how the CCG actually think. The people who cooperate with the CCG actually think. The people who are just associated inside the CCG really think about ghouls. They don't think about them as humans or other life forms. They think about them as beasts that need to be taken out. And I really think anime homies are going to be able to sympathize with ghouls at this point, because you haven't seen the worst of the worst. Well, you've seen Rize, but you haven't seen Tsukiyama yet, so it's hard to see both sides when one side is just clearly portrayed as the villain and the other side is portrayed as the good person. Either way, now, this whole segment is going to be very tensionful in the anime. I want the OST to be looming. I want everything to be very, like, bleak. Very, very, like, you know how when you watch a spy movie and someone's about to get discovered? Kind of like that. I want it to be very, very tensionful because we know what these people can do and we're inside their base. We're literally inside of the base of the people who will kill a ghoul at sight. So basically, it's also going to ask us more questions about why Kaneki's didn't go off when he goes through the door. They're also going to ask us more questions about that. And then eventually, he's going to let us leave. The last bit of the episode is just going to be Amon, getting to know him a little bit more, getting to know how he thinks a little bit more, knowing how he reacted to his fellow subordinate's death, claiming the first iconic line of the series to end the episode, "This world is wrong." That'll be the 4th episode of this volume and the last episode of this volume. If you guys like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I can keep doing this volume by volume. We can keep going. The more likes I see, the more motivated I'll be to put out a next episode of this. If you guys want me to really complete this series, maybe someone at Studio Period, maybe someone at the studios will maybe notice it and see it, then maybe, you know, we could actually go crazy. But till then, hope you guys have a great day, and bye-bye.